Hello, hello there, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our second session. I'm going to give a few minutes for others to join. I know there's a little delay here when we're streaming, so I want to give a little bit of time before I jump into today's session. All right. It is Wednesday. It is lunchtime. So I want to give a few more seconds here before I jump into today's topic because I don't want you to miss a thing. All right. And I just want to see here, make sure. A little check-in before I get going. Okay, perfect. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, great. All right. Well, let's get going. We are starting off our second series here. So today we are talking about our momentum, getting us into a brand new year. And when we are thinking about what we need to get us to that next level, it takes some time, it takes some thought, it takes some planning. So that's what we're here for. And I want to congratulate you for taking the time to watch and listen and learn, because that's what's going to be the difference for you in the coming year. The key is going to be applying what you're hearing and putting it into action. So we are talking about 4 weeks to new you readiness. So we have 3 more Wednesdays, including today, that is going to bring us into 2024. So we need to be very purposeful about how we're approaching this new year. And we don't want to just wake up in 2024 and try to figure out how we're going to make the life of our dreams happen. We want to be prepared. We want to walk into the new year already with a plan. And that's what you're doing right now. So in this momentum series, we are taking it, we are breaking it down step by step, so that we might be able to ensure that we have the best year possible. So let's get going. Last week, we talked about getting clear on our authentic wants. And this is a 4-week series, so our focus is going to be different each and every week. This week, we are talking about assessing our present states of contentment. Next week, we will be getting into what are our bare minimums in all areas, and that will make much more sense as we go through today. And finally, right before we hit 2024, we will bring it all together with living on purpose for the long haul, because we want lasting change. Lasting change is slow and gradual, but we have to get going. We have to get moving. We can't just stay where we are and just wish for something different. We have to get into action. So let's talk about what this means. Assessing our present state of contentment. If we are thinking about how we want to be living, we need to assess how we're feeling now with our life. What is the current state? What is your happiness level, and I use the word happiness, you can fill in any word. I like to use the word contentment a little more because the idea of being contented is just this feeling of completion for me. That's how I like to define it. But assessing your present state of contentment is extremely important because this is your starting point. And if you don't know where you're even starting from, how are you going to be able to figure out where you want to go? So we want to be very careful and very thoughtful in our planning. And we need to start where we are. We don't think about the past. We don't think about how often we didn't meet the goal that we wanted or how many times we're going to get up and try again, because that's not relevant. We're going to take inventory on where we are today, how we're feeling today, and then we are going to make sure that we have a plan to move forward. So, this is my absolute all time favorite tool to assess current levels of contentment and to also measure future goals. So, we need a starting point, as I said, and we need to make sure that we know where we're going. So, we need to have a range so that we can see where we are and see where we want to go. So, this is what I like to call the wellness wheel, and it's composed of the super seven. So, these are the 7 areas of your life, of our lives, and these are the important pillars to our life. So, if you look around the wheel with me, starting at the top, we have career, physical activity, nutrition, finances, relationships, self expression, and connectedness. And we want to be sure that we take a look at each and every area because they are all important. This is what it means to have holistic wellness. Sometimes we can get stuck in one area and we can really push ourselves to achieve a lot in one area. But oftentimes, what you'll see is if you don't have a balance that works for you in all of these areas, then you can't, in fact, feel contented because you're looking for something more. You're feeling as though something is missing. And that's not where you want to be if you're looking to live a whole, balanced life. We want to look at our wellness in the eyes of holistic living. We don't want to get stuck in one area and leave everything else out of the picture because all of it is important. This is all part of our human experiences. So when we look at the wellness wheel, we can see that each and every area of our life is covered. We have career, physical activity, nutrition, finances, relationships, self expression, and connectedness. So, those are the super 7. And we're going to go into each one. And what I would like you to do today is get out a paper and pencil or pen and pencil and write these down. If you are interested in a nice, clean PDF, you can put ready in the chat and I will make sure to get one to you. This is an exercise that I love to do with my clients because I think it gives so much perspective. Sometimes we get stuck in one area and we forget that we need to be looking at the whole picture. And in looking at the whole picture, we're able to focus and we're able to make those goals happen for us. We want to make sure that we are attending to all areas of our life in order to live a full and balanced life. And this wheel is going to look a little different for everybody because this is your life and you get to design it exactly the way that you want to. You get to measure it against your standard for success. And we talked a little bit about that last week. So if you did not catch the replay for last week, feel free to head over to Life Purposely with Elizabeth on Facebook. The entire replay is there for you. On session 1, we talked about your authentic goals, what you want for yourself. And we got to the bottom of what we truly want. And we had to dig deep to get there. So I really recommend you going back. This is meant to be a 4-week series. So each week is going to give you an important piece of the puzzle. So let's get back to what we're focused on today. And I can talk about how that incorporates in last week's presentation as well. So, if we again focus on this wheel and think about how each of our lives is affected when we live holistically and taking that into account, what I'd like you to do is assess each area of your life. And how you do that, you can give yourself a 1 to 10 rating scale. So, imagine that you are very, very satisfied in your career. So maybe you score yourself a 10 in that area, 10 meaning the highest satisfaction level. And if I had this wheel in front of me in pen and paper version, I would be putting a dot on the top of the circle nearest to the edge, right under the word career. And that would signify that that's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. I'm so happy with my career. And that's a 10 out of 10. So I'd be putting a dot right here at the top. If I'm not so satisfied with my career and I'm feeling a little disappointed in that area, then I'm going to put my dot near the center of the circle. So still under career, following that line all the way down, but near the center of the circle, where I might score myself a 1 in that area. If you're right in the middle, then you're right in the middle of the line. So I would follow the word career all the way down and put a dot in the middle. You're going to do this in each and every area, but I want to give you some prompting questions as we go through this. So we're going to start at the top. And what I want you to think about is your career as it stands now. So let's think 2023. If I think about how fulfilled am I in my career at this point, how would you rate yourself? Is your work environment a positive one? Do you feel good showing up to work every day? Do you have room to advance should you want to? Do you see opportunities for yourself to grow within your field of study? Do you have plans to further your own career development? All of these questions are going to factor into how you rate yourself in the area of career. So again, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Just take a second and give yourself a score there. And we're going to move on to physical activity. This is a very important part of our overall health. Am I engaging in daily movement that I enjoy? Are you moving your body on a daily basis in a way that feels good to you? Is your physical health where you would like it to be? Are you contented with your physical health at this time? Again, 10 being extremely happy, 1 being disappointed, need improvement in this area. Next is nutrition. It goes hand in hand. Am I eating a majority of whole foods that make my body feel nourished? Do I feel energized when I eat? Am I taking the time to eat without distractions? These are all questions that we can be asking ourselves. So think back to this year in the area of nutrition. And if you were going to give yourself a rating overall, where would you fall on that scale? Next is finances. Are you comfortable with the state of your finances? We're getting to the end of the year. So we've had a whole 12 months to move ourselves forward financially, to stay stuck, or maybe we've made some choices that we're not too happy with this year, and we need a plan of action to move forward. A good way to estimate this for yourself is, do you feel constricted in this area or at ease? Sometimes even bringing up the word finances can cause people to constrict. If there's an energy surrounding your finances that makes you tighten up, then you're not a 10 out of 10 in that area just yet, but we can get there. If you feel easy breezy, so happy and contented where you are with your finances this year, then you're going to score yourself 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll be able to feel that in your body. So pay attention. So we've just gone through the first 4 areas. We have 3 left. The next area is relationships. And this is touching on all types of relationships. So it could be your familial relationships. It could be your professional relationships. All relationships are under this category. Because the question is, are you satisfied with the quality of the important relationships in your life? Is there an emotional ebb and flow that you're happy with? Because as we know, relationships change, our feelings change, the amount of time, energy, and effort we put into our relationships may change based on other things going on in our life. But there should be an ebb and flow to relationships, especially the ones that you signify as the important ones. So which ones are the top tier relationships in your life? Maybe it's with your children, maybe it's with a spouse, maybe it's with coworkers, clients. Do you feel good about the quality of those relationships at this time? So you're going 1 being not so much, 10 being ecstatic. The next one we're going to consider, this often is one that people don't even put into the equation. And it's a sneaky one, and it's one that I see has such a positive effect when I work with clients and we focus on this area. But oftentimes we put this one on the back burner and it's not even something that we consider. Self-expression is extremely important. It's part of our experience in life. It's part of how we show up and we fully express ourselves in this one life that we have, that we know of. So do you have enough creative outlets for your personal passions in life? And as women, this is one that we can struggle with because we may put these passions to the side to meet the needs of others. But if you can't think of anything, sometimes when I speak with clients, they don't even know what they're interested in anymore. I say, think back to what interested you in the past. Maybe you loved to paint. And you don't even have to think that you were good at it, but did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy spending time just having a free flow process without an intended outcome? Did you ever knit, or do you like to organize? Do you like to dance? Or read? Reading was one for me that I loved to do, and I just couldn't do it as a mom of young children. I found myself just distracted and unable to truly focus and escape with a book. But I had to find other ways to meet that need. So I want you to think about that. Do you have personal passions that you live out on a consistent basis? Everybody has them, but have you identified what the things that light you up are? And are you spending enough time doing them? And that can be different for everyone. Some people may feel that they have one time a week where they go to that dance class and that keeps them fueled up for the whole week. Somebody might need the daily task of journaling, and that gets them inspired and motivated and makes them feel centered. Whatever it is, are you reaching the level that meets your personal needs? That's really important because it's something that we're going to focus on as we're planning for our success in 2024. So self-expression, don't forget about it. The last piece here is connectedness. Do I have a connection to something greater than myself? Am I happy with that connection? This can be a personal connection with God, with the universe, a deep connection with nature. It really can go in a number of ways. But how often are you feeling awestruck and just filled with gratitude, just filled with this feeling that there's so much more? There's a bigger picture here. This is that lens where we pull back and we notice that we are just one cog here in this system, right? That There's so much more. And sometimes this helps us get out of stressful situations because we realize that it's just a small little blip in our life experience, but actually there's so much more. How often are you connecting to something that makes you feel small in its abundance? You might have a daily practice that helps you do that, or it might be something that you know that you need to get back to. Maybe you feel a deep sense of peace when you are out in nature and you are just in awe of the beauty and the tapestry of the colors all around you and how everything works together in perfect harmony. So, have you done that in a while? And how would you rate yourself in this year? Have you done that enough for yourself, for your satisfaction level? So, that is a 1 to 10. 1 being not satisfied, 10 being extremely satisfied. So, again, I want to go back to the wheel just to see this is how it all works together. Now, at different times in our life, these pie slices might be a little thinner or might be a little thicker because what I need to find for myself and my goals in my career may be different for you or to anybody else. Maybe I put a focus in one area at one time, but at another time, I want to expand in that area and make that more of a central piece in my life. So there's not a perfect way to do this, but it's an awareness. It's an awareness that we are a sum of parts and that each and every one is important in its own way, according to each individual person. So now that we've gone through the questions, I want you to think about what are the ones that are the lowest for you? What areas are showing up for you as you measure your satisfaction level in that particular area as ones that need your attention? Maybe you've been neglecting. I want you to think a little bit about each and every one of those areas and which one stands out to you. Because maybe you have big goals for yourself in the area of career, but maybe your expressive area, so that self-expression, came up as super low for you. And that wasn't even on your radar. You didn't even realize that that was important. And now you're seeing that maybe it needs a little bit of your attention. What I love about this strategy is that sometimes we go so hard in one area because we are just so desperate to make improvements in that one area. And we make it hard because we're working hard at that particular item. And it feels like a chore because there's just so much that we're putting into it. But what we can find is that if we pull back and we give a little bit of energy in another area, such as self-expression. So I really want to advance in my career, and I've been showing everyone how hard I'm working, and I've been putting all my thoughts, energy, and attention into that. But then I realized that my self-expression is very low. So I decide to sign up for a pottery class because I used to love to do that and I haven't gotten around to it. And I start going to that weekly pottery class. What happens without us noticing is we are feeling more fulfilled. And that abundance in that one area of fulfillment is then spilling out into other areas. So then we're coming at our career with a renewed energy, with an excitement, with this attitude that we weren't really able to utilize before or tap into before because we were trying so hard and pushing so hard. So when we feed other areas of our life, those areas that we want to make improvements on that are glaring at us in the face, they somehow seem to come together a bit easier because we've changed our perspective, because we've taken a new angle, because we've pulled ourselves out from being just in that one laser focused area. And we realized that this is a whole life picture. This is a holistic approach to living. And when we fill some of those other areas that are a bit dehydrated and need a glass of water, we are feeling that much more well oiled in all areas. So don't neglect the fact that one area that you've never considered is scored lowest. That area could have the biggest impact on you and your future success. Remember last week I asked you, what do you truly want? Not on a surface level, but what do you truly want? What is going to be the difference for you for looking at 2023 and looking forward to 2024? What's going to be the change maker for you? What's going to be the difference this year that couldn't come together for whatever reason in 2023, but that you are primed to make happen in 2024? What is it that you truly want? And as I mentioned earlier, to really dig deep on this one, you need to go back to the replay on session 1, because that's where we really broke this down and we had some breakthroughs in how we are honing in on what we truly want. But my next question for you is, in considering what you truly want, is what you say you want reflective of what your life needs? That's a powerful question. And the way we answer that is by using the wellness wheel as our tool. That's a proven formula for success. So we want to utilize the tools that we have. If we decide what we want, let's take that decision, take that statement, take that desire, and measure it against the wellness wheel. Because we need to ask ourselves, can I make room for a more holistic approach to wellness this year? If you felt you were coming up short in 2023 and you're just banging your head against the wall, not sure why it's not working, I really encourage you to consider a holistic approach to wellness, because one area is not your life. Your life is comprised of those 7 important areas. And I guarantee you that even if you choose a want in a particular area, it won't be as sweet if you neglect all the other areas of your life. Because if we get something in a way that discards the other important areas of our life, when we actually get to that point of achieving that goal, it won't feel as good as we expect it to be. It won't have the same sweetness factor, that level of satisfaction, because we've neglected those other areas that make us who we are. So this is a really big one to consider. Is what you say you want reflective of your needs? And if it's not, that's okay, because that can still be your want. But maybe we have to tend to another area first and create a small goal where we can have a win in that area to build some momentum in order to get to that next level, in order to make that want something that is already a part of our experience. So ask yourself, how can I make room for a holistic approach in my life this year? And so that's our action step for this week. We're wrapping up because it's a lunch break series and it's a power 30 minutes. We only have 30 minutes to pack this in. And I want you to walk away today with a deep reflection on those areas. I know we didn't have much time here, but I want you to take those areas and I want you to take some time and sit in deep reflection, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you're going to ponder this over the next few days. Maybe you need to sit down with a pen and paper again and really go into each area. But I want you to score each area, make sure each one has a score that resonates with you. So you want to feel good about what you put on that paper. Even if you're not happy with the number, you want that number to be reflective of how you truly feel. This is a key component to success, is that reflective time. We can't just hear something. We have to actually do something. Even if I said something that you agreed with and that may have resonated with you because you know it to be true, it doesn't matter much until you do something with that information. Okay. So next week, we are going to take this information and we are going to set our standards in each area. And I have a secret way, a secret strategy to make sure that you are making progress in each one of those areas in this new year. It's so simple, you will not believe it, but you'll understand how charting your progress in each one of those areas and setting a plan is going to set you up for success in 2024. You're going to move into the new year with such momentum. This is the time right now, these last few weeks of December, where you are setting the stage so that you can walk right into the movie, which is your life. You are the starring role in your life experience, and you get to create the standard. You get to create the determination and the drive and the consistency that you put into your goals this year. Nothing external has a role in that. It's all you. It comes down to you. So make sure that you do the work. It's just going to take you a little bit of time, but it will have residual payoff in the new year. So I'll see you next week. Make sure that if you want the PDF that you reach out to me and let me know. I can send you this so that you have it ready for next week. I'm so excited to see you next time for session 3, where we will be setting the standard for each area. Have a great week, everybody.